Listen, immigration officers and custom officers, all you need to stop asking returning nationals how long they plan to stay or where they stay in. Let me tell you something. Immigration officers, right now, you guys are the first people that anyone see when they enter into a country. No matter what country, no matter what island you go to, the immigration officers are the first person that someone encounter. The first impression is the last impression. But let me first talk about this from a returning national point of view. There are immigration officers and custom officers right now. I'll speak about Grenada because I'm from Grenada. Everybody know I'm from Grenada. The only thing I don't have is a nutmeg sticking out of my ear. I'm Grenadian. I have a Grenadian passport when I'm traveling back home. My passport say big and bold Grenada on it. And after that, when I go home, when I'm heading home and I reach to the officer and I give them a passport, they would turn and ask me how long I intend to stay. What? How do you mean how long I intend to stay? I can stay for as long as I want. I am from here. My passport say Grenada. I can stay for as long as I want. So why you keep asking that question? Now this don't happen to me just one time, you know. This happened to me more than one occasion. Right? And I found out that it's not only happening to me, it happening to a lot of people as well. So why? Let me ask you. Let me put this thing into perspective right here. If I am a returning national, I am from that country. That's where I am from. Born, grew up, my resident, I have a Grenadian passport. And I give you that Grenadian passport. I am returning home. The place that I call my home. Who in their right mind would ask somebody coming home how long they intend to stay in their home? It's like you coming home to your wife or kids and somebody meet you outside and telling you, "Hi sir, how long you plan to stay in your home?" Unless that person is not being ridiculously stupid asking that question, you wouldn't ask somebody that question. Now, if somebody is returning with a foreign passport, like you might have a US passport or a Canadian passport, and you present it, right? Yes, you need to know how long the person is staying. But a returning national, you cannot give me no time to stay in my own country. I can stay for as long as I want. I can stay for a year. I can stay for 10 years. I can stay and don't come back. I can stay a day. I can stay for as long as I want. It is not your business to ask somebody, a returning national. That is specifically what I'm speaking about. So don't get it twisted. I'm speaking about returning nationals traveling with Grenadian or local passport. You might be from Jamaica. You might be from Barbados. Wherever country you're from, your passport is your nationality. That's where you're from. No immigration officer should turn and ask you how long you plan to stay in a country, in your own goddamn country. It makes no sense at all. So all of them custom officers or immigration officers who are talking about that right now, they need to go back and retrain. They need to retrain themselves. Because first of all, it is insulting that you're so happy to go back to your own country, the place that you fly the flag for umpteen years. You're ambassador for your country, and when you get back home feeling all happy to return home, somebody go turn to you and ask you how long you intend to stay. And it's like they're not getting it. The first time it happened to me, I spoke to the Consul General and I told him, I said, "Listen, Consul General, I'll need to do something about this." Because people, for me personally, I feel insulted by somebody asking me that question. And I told him about it. I spoke to the minister at the time, the culture minister at the time. And she, in fact, told me personally that that is not a question that they're supposed to ask. Now, let's reverse it. When we are returning back to the United States, our place of residence, this is not our home. This is not our home. We come back here, we work, we do what we need to do here, we travel back home. Some of us spend more time in the Caribbean than we spend here in the US. When we return here, whether we have a green card or whatever the case is, returning back here, you know the first thing that they tell us? Welcome home. They stamp your passport and say, "Welcome home, Mr. George, welcome home." Right? That is what the islands need to adapt. They need to be retrained and adapt a better way of welcoming the nationals. Now, I went to Guyana one time, and I love Guyana, so nothing against Guyana. But the first time I went to Guyana, and that first impression about Guyana wasn't a nice impression for me. The immigration officer was so nasty. at me. And that is not symbolic of all Guyanese. Excuse me, because I have a lot of Guyanese friends and they're not like that. But my first impression was, yo, that is how Guyana is, Jed. Guyana is like that. The woman was so rough. And where's your pen? You don't have a pen. And that kind of arrogant way, you know what I mean? Probably she was having a bad day. So that's not a representation of all Guyanese people. But the immigration, the first impression is the lasting impression. I remember that more than any other experience I had in Guyana. And I've been back to Guyana about 4, 5, 6 times after that. So the custom officers and immigration officers need to be retrained. A lot of people say when you go to the islands, then they want to send you to the red line and they want to search your stuff. Now, I am not against income coming into the country. I'm not against they send you to the red line and they're searching you. And if you have merchant commercial item, yeah, you'll get charged for it. If you're coming down with 656 iPhone, you'll get charged for it. Understandable. But I'm hearing that the officers are not even using the proper discretion. They are literally searching people and charging people for coming home with their laptops. Their own personal laptop with the kid's picture on it. That is not for sale. That is my own personal property. My camera that I'm going with, I'm a videographer. That's what I do, right? And I understand the process. Listen, I understand the process. Sometimes I don't even bother with it. It costs a few $100, $200, $300, $150, whatever. I just want to get out of there. I pay it and I go, right? But that is damaging the mindset of a lot of patriotic Grenadians and Caribbean nationals when they go back home, right? And then you look, they may look at you and say, oh, you have 2 suitcases, 3 suitcases, or you have a lot of stuff you're selling. But what about the visitor that's coming here and they have big suitcase? You ain't searching them. I'm not saying, again, I want to get it very clear. I'm not saying that they shouldn't search people from coming in to that bringing a very, very vital source of income into the country. Such people, that is your job, right? But you can't profile people. Don't profile people. Right? Don't profile people because, oh, that one have a suitcase, boy. Let me search him. Or you have 2, 3 jeans pants in his suitcase. Let me charge him for that. All you have to use all your discretion, all your better discretion. So, whoever the minister is responsible for that, all you need to go back and start to retrain people and tell them, please, don't ask no returning national. From the time you look at your passport and your passport say the country of residence, and that's where you are, you don't ask them that question. You don't ask them that question, how long they plan to stay in their own home. All you need to do better than that. All you need to do better than that. And it's not now this is happening. This is happening. And it continues to happen. And it continues to happen. This needs to stop. This needs to be retrained. A new mindset have to go into some of these immigration officers and custom officers. No, I'm not saying all immigration officers. I'm not saying all custom officers. But the custom officers and immigration officers who are doing it, that need to stop. It is not nice. It is not polite. It is not right that you ask a returning nationals how long they plan to stay. All right? I want all you to take heed. I want all you to comment on that. If you had a situation where you had to go, you're going back home, and that's your reality, you're happy to go back home, and from the time you meet there, they ask you the question, how long you plan to stay. Let me know. Comment in the bottom here. Let me know what happened. Let me know what you did about it, and let us start. Because if this continues, this gonna have to go to higher authorities. Because as I said, we're happy to go home. We want to go and have a good time, but we don't want the question. We don't want the question of how long we plan to stay. Don't ask me that question. Don't ask me that question. Comment at the bottom. Let me know what you think. If you agree or you disagree, whatever it is, I want to know. Post your question at the bottom. All right.